He raised his spear and threw it. The animal collapsed with a violent cry, crashing through bushes and snapping branches as it hit the forest floor. The hunter ran after it, breath heavy, boots pounding the earth, heart racing with the thrill of the chase. Then, without warning, everything stopped. No echo, no rustle, no final death rattle. Just silence, so sudden it felt like the world had been cut in half. He slowed. His grip tightened. "Something's wrong," he muttered. The forest was never silent. Birds argued, insects screamed, leaves whispered. But now there was nothing. Even his own footsteps sounded too loud, as if the ground itself was listening. He pushed aside thick vines and stepped into a clearing, and froze. The animal lay dead, but not from his spear. No wound, no blood. Its eyes were wide open, staring past him, terrified of something else.
Go!
Then a voice spoke behind him.
You shouldn't have followed it.
He spun around, spear raised. She stood there barefoot, unmoving, framed by towering trees. The hunter's breath caught painfully in his chest. He had hunted beasts, fought men, survived wars, but nothing had prepared him for her. She was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen, not in a soft or gentle way, but in a way that felt dangerous, like fire pretending to be light. "Who are you?" he demanded. She tilted her head slightly, studying him, eyes calm, ancient, and unafraid. "That question comes too late." The hunter swallowed. His instincts screamed at him to run, but his feet refused to move. The forest felt different around her. Trees leaned inward, shadows curled closer, as if the land itself recognized her. If you're enjoying this story so far, like the video now, subscribe to the channel and stay with us, because what he just found will change everything.
My name is not important, but yours is.
His stomach tightened. "You don't know my name." She smiled faintly. "You are the son of a hunter, and the grandson of a liar." Rage flared. "Watch your mouth." She stepped closer. The ground did not crunch beneath her feet. Leaves did not move. "Your people should never have returned to this forest." He laughed sharply. "This forest belongs to no one." Her eyes darkened. "That is where you are wrong." He tried to step back and slammed into an invisible wall. His heart thundered. He pushed again. Nothing. Panic crawled up his spine. "What did you do?" he snapped. "I warned you," she said calmly. "You shouldn't have followed." The wall vanished as suddenly as it appeared. He staggered forward, breathing hard, fury mixing with fear. "You're a witch." "If that helps you sleep," she replied. He stared at her, anger burning. "Why are you here?" She looked past him, deeper into the forest. "Waiting." "For what?" "For someone like you." That was when he made the worst decision of his life. He brought her back to the village. The moment they appeared, conversations died. Women stopped grinding grain. Children froze mid-play. Every eye turned toward her. A low murmur spread like fire. Who is she? Where did he find her? Why does the air feel heavy? She walked beside him without resistance, her gaze sweeping over mud huts and wooden fences like she had seen them rise and fall before. Dogs whimpered and backed away. Chickens scattered. Fires dimmed as she passed. An old woman whispered, "The forest woman has returned." The hunter stopped. "What did you say?" The woman covered her mouth and hurried away. By nightfall, the village was restless. Men gathered with spears. Elders argued in hushed voices. The hunter stood in the center, arms crossed, trying to ignore the tightness in his chest. "She followed me," he said. She needed shelter. One elder leaned forward, eyes narrowed. "Did she ask to be brought here?" The hunter hesitated.
No.
A ripple of anger moved through the crowd. "You don't bring forest things into human homes," another elder snapped. "Especially not ones like her." She finally spoke again. "I told him not to." The room fell silent. The chief cleared his throat. "You will stay the night," he said stiffly. "At dawn, we decide what to do." She met his gaze. "Dawn will be too late." That night, no one slept. Children cried from dreams of roots wrapping around their legs. Men woke sweating, convinced something was breathing beside them. The hunter sat outside his hut, staring into the darkness, replaying her words. "You knew my name," he said quietly. She sat across from him, calm as stone. "I know many names." "Why me?" "Because your blood remembers." He scoffed. "Blood remembers nothing." She leaned closer. "Your grandfather helped bind me." The hunter jumped to his feet. "That's a lie." "Is it?" she asked softly. "Ask your elders why this forest was forbidden. Ask them why no one hunts here anymore." Footsteps approached. Angry ones. A group of men emerged from the shadows, weapons raised. "This has gone on long enough," one shouted. "She's the reason the animals fled. She's why the fires won't burn." Another spat. "Kill her and end it." The hunter stepped in front of her without thinking. "No." "You'd choose her over your people?" a man snarled. "I'd choose truth over fear," the hunter shot back. The woman touched his arm. "Do not protect me." "Why not?" "Because they are already afraid," she said. "And fear turns men into monsters." If you think the tension here is unbearable, comment below. Would you stand with her, or would you join the mob? The chief raised his staff. "Enough. She stays under guard until we learn what she is." She smiled sadly. "You already know." As the men dragged her away, the forest groaned. Not wind, not thunder. A warning. And far beyond the village, roots began to move. The guards tied her hands, but the ropes loosened on their own. No one noticed at first. They were too busy arguing, too busy convincing themselves that fear was wisdom. The hunter watched the fibers slip, unraveling like they had never been twisted. She did not look down. She did not smile. She simply walked where they pushed her, barefoot on hard earth, untouched by thorns, untouched by dust. They locked her inside the old grain hut near the forest edge. It had no door, only a wooden barrier nailed across the entrance. "She won't escape," one man said, pounding the final nail. "Nothing escapes that hut." The woman sat down calmly, folding her legs beneath her. "Everything escapes eventually," she said. The night deepened. Somewhere beyond the huts, trees creaked. Not from wind, from movement. Roots shifted under soil. The hunter stood outside his home, restless, unable to shake the feeling that he had dragged a storm into human shape. "You should not have brought her," his sister hissed, stepping beside him. "People are afraid." "They're always afraid," he replied. "Fear doesn't make them right." She lowered her voice. "The elders are meeting." That was when the screaming started. A child ran through the village, face streaked with tears. "The goats," he cried. "They won't move. They're kneeling." Men rushed to the pens. The animals stood frozen, heads bowed toward the forest. No matter how hard they were struck, they would not lift them. An elder whispered, trembling, "She's calling them." The hunter shook his head. "She hasn't moved." The forest answered with silence. Then a branch snapped. The chief ordered torches lit. "Bring her out," he said. "Now." They ripped the barrier down and dragged her into the firelight. She did not resist. Her eyes swept across the crowd, not with anger, not with fear, but with something closer to disappointment. "You promised shelter," she said to the hunter. He clenched his fists. "They're afraid." "You should be afraid," an elder spat. "You walk among us like a curse." She turned to him. "Do you remember the price you paid for your harvests?" The elder went pale. "She knows nothing." "I remember," she said quietly. "I remember the blood soaked into the soil. I remember the screams you buried under prayers." Rage erupted. "Burn her. Send her back to the forest. She'll destroy us." The hunter stepped forward again. "Enough. If she wanted us dead, we wouldn't be standing." The chief hesitated. "Is that true?" She met his gaze. "You still breathe because I allow it." Gasps tore through the crowd. If this story is making your heart race, like the video and subscribe now, because this is where fear begins to turn into violence. The elders pulled the hunter aside. "She must die," one whispered harshly. She is the forest made flesh. Another shook his head. Killing her could wake something worse. The oldest among them spoke last. The binding is weakening. The hunter spun on him. Binding? What binding? Silence. You knew, he said slowly. All of you knew. The old man's voice cracked. We did what we had to. They told him everything before dawn. Long ago, the forest was ruled by a guardian. Not a god. Not a spirit. Something older. She ensured balance. Took only what was offered. Gave back what was needed. But the people grew hungry. Greedy. They wanted more land. More harvests. More children to survive. They lured her. Trapped her. Bound her power into human blood, using rituals carved into bone and stone. Her strength was sealed into flesh, so she could be controlled. She was beautiful even then, the elder said. That made it easier to betray her. The hunter felt sick. You turned her into this. She was never meant to wake again, the elder whispered. Outside, the forest roared. Not wind. Not animals. Roots tore through soil at the village edge, cracking fences, swallowing crops. The people screamed and ran. Children clung to mothers. Fires went out. The woman stood where they had left her, hands free now, watching the chaos unfold. You lied, she said calmly. The hunter stepped toward her, voice shaking. Why now? Because the last seal is breaking, she replied. And because you brought me home. What happens if it breaks? She looked at the forest. Balance returns. And us. She met his eyes. Some debts are not negotiable. The elders shouted. She's threatening us. She raised her voice for the first time. I am warning you. A man charged her with a spear. The forest screamed. The ground split beneath his feet, swallowing him whole. The earth closed again. Silence followed. No blood. No body. Just absence. The village broke. People ran. Others dropped to their knees, begging. The hunter stood frozen, heart pounding. She didn't kill him, a woman whispered. The forest did. The woman turned to the hunter. Now you see. He swallowed hard. What do you want? I want what was taken, she said. And you are the key. The chief fell to his knees. Please, he begged. Spare us. She looked down at him. That choice is not mine anymore. The forest surged closer, trees bending inward, shadows stretching across huts. If you've stayed this long, the narrator pressed softly, comment below, should the hunter save the village or free what they chained? The woman reached for the hunter's hand. He did not pull away. Choose, she said. Before the forest chooses for you. And deep beneath the soil, something ancient began to wake. The forest did not rush in all at once. It advanced slowly, deliberately, like a predator that knew its prey could not escape. Roots crept across the ground in thick coils, snapping wooden fences and cracking the mud walls of huts. Trees leaned closer, their branches stretching like listening ears. The villagers screamed and scattered, but there was nowhere to run. Every path out of the village led deeper into the forest. The hunter stood frozen, his hand still wrapped around hers. Her skin was warm, steady, nothing like the monster they were calling her. Call it back, he said urgently, before someone else dies. She did not look at him. I am not commanding it, she replied. It is remembering. An elder staggered forward, rage burning through his fear. You planned this, he shouted. You came here to destroy us. She turned to face him slowly. No, she said. You destroyed yourselves long before I returned. The elder raised his voice to the crowd. Do you hear her? She admits it. She admits nothing, the hunter snapped. You bound her. You lied to us. You fed us a false history. A woman screamed as her roof collapsed under the weight of twisting roots. Children cried, clinging to their parents. Panic swallowed reason. This is your fault, a man shouted at the hunter. You brought her. The hunter spun on him. I brought the truth. You're just angry it finally found you. The chief grabbed the hunter's arm. Listen to me, he hissed. This can still be fixed. How? The hunter demanded. The chief's eyes flicked toward the woman. The ritual. The binding can be reforged. Her grip tightened slightly on the hunter's hand. You would try to cage me again? We'll do what we must, the chief said coldly. For the village. Rage flared in the hunter's chest. You'd sacrifice her again? She's not human, an elder snapped. She never was. The woman laughed softly, without humor. You keep saying that as if it excuses what you did. The forest surged closer, but then it stopped. Completely. As if waiting. The woman turned fully to the hunter now. This is where they always stop, she said. Right before they beg. The chief dropped to his knees. Please, he said, voice breaking. We were wrong. We were afraid. End this. She studied him quietly. You are still afraid. Yes, he cried. Of losing everything. That fear is why this happened in the first place, she replied. The hunter felt the weight of every eye on him. He was no longer just a hunter. He was a judge. What do you want me to do? He asked her, voice hoarse. Nothing yet, she said. They must decide first. The elders gathered quickly, whispering furiously. The hunter caught fragments. Kill her. Finish the binding. He's the last blood. Use him. His stomach twisted. An elder stepped forward, smiling falsely. You are your grandfather's grandson, he said. His blood sealed her once. Yours can seal her forever. The hunter's hand went to his knife. Stay away from me. If you don't do this, the elder continued, the forest will swallow us all. The woman leaned closer to the hunter. They are lying again. The elder snapped. You think she's telling the truth? She hasn't lied once. The hunter shot back. You have. The elder's smile vanished. Then you leave us no choice. He nodded sharply. Men lunged. They grabbed the hunter from behind, wrenching his arms back. Someone struck him across the face. He tasted blood. You think this is justice? He roared. This is fear wearing authority. They dragged him toward the old stone circle at the village center. The hunter struggled, rage fueling him. You're going to doom yourselves. The woman walked after them, unhurried. Roots cracked the ground at her feet but did not touch her. You can't force him, she said calmly. We can, the chief snapped. And we will. They shoved the hunter to his knees at the stone circle. The markings carved into the rock made his skin crawl. He recognized some symbols from childhood warnings. Symbols he had been told were just stories. They were never stories, the woman said softly, reading his thoughts. They were instructions. An elder raised a blade. Blood binds blood, he chanted. The hunter looked up at her. If I do this, he said quietly, what happens to you? I sleep again, she replied. And the forest forgets. And the village? She met his gaze. It survives. For a while. The elder pressed the blade closer. Choose. The hunter laughed bitterly. You're asking me to repeat a crime and call it salvation. The woman knelt beside him. I will not stop you, she said. If you bind me again, I will endure it. Why? He demanded. Because balance is patient, she replied. And debt always comes due. The hunter's chest burned. He looked at the people he had hunted for, protected, bled for. Faces twisted by fear, hatred, desperation. If you're watching this right now, pause for a second. Like the video, subscribe, and comment, because this choice will decide who the real monster is. The elder shoved the blade into the hunter's hand. Do it. The forest trembled. The hunter closed his eyes and dropped the knife. No, he said. The village erupted. She's corrupted him. Kill them both. The chief screamed. Stop. Too late. A man rushed the woman with a spear. The forest answered. Roots burst from the ground, wrapping the man mid-stride, lifting him screaming into the air before slamming him back down, unconscious but alive. The woman stood. Her voice carried without effort. I warned you. The forest surged again, closer now, angrier. The hunter rose shakily to his feet. End this, he begged her. Please. She looked at him with something like sorrow. There is only one way now. She placed her hand over his heart. Free me. The ground shook violently. Trees groaned. The sky darkened. "What happens if I do?" he whispered. She leaned close. "The forest takes back what was stolen. And the people?" She did not answer. The elders screamed. "Don't listen to her." The hunter looked at the village, then at the forest, then at the woman who had been caged by his bloodline. His hands trembled, and the forest waited. The ground shook hard enough to knock people off their feet. Huts creaked and split. Dust rose in choking clouds. Children screamed as mothers dragged them closer, clutching them like shields. The forest no longer advanced slowly. It moved with intention now, roots tearing free of the soil, branches cracking like bones. "Stop it," the chief shouted, his voice lost in the chaos. "Call it off." The woman lowered her hand from the hunter's chest. "I cannot," she said calmly. "You crossed the last line." The hunter staggered as the weight of her words settled in him. "Then tell me how to end it." She turned her gaze toward the forest. "You already know." The elders shouted over one another. "He's under her spell. Kill him. Finish the ritual now." A stone flew through the air and struck the hunter's shoulder. Pain flared. He turned just in time to see another man winding up to throw again. Rage exploded inside him. "Enough," he roared. "You don't get to blame me for your crimes." A woman screamed as her home collapsed inward, swallowed by thick roots. "It's her fault," she cried hysterically. "She's punishing us." The woman faced her. "I am returning what you took," she said. "You lived on stolen balance." The hunter stepped forward, placing himself between her and the crowd again. "Listen to her," he shouted. "She isn't attacking. The forest is correcting." "That doesn't matter," a man screamed back. "We're dying." Fear had finally consumed reason. The chief grabbed the hunter by the collar. "You will do this," he hissed. "Or we will kill you and use your blood anyway." The hunter laughed harshly. "You think my blood will obey you if I'm dead?" The chief hesitated. The woman spoke softly, but every word carried. "He must choose freely, or the binding fails." The elders exchanged looks of panic. "She's lying," one snapped. "She hasn't lied yet," the hunter said coldly. Another tremor shook the village. The forest had reached the outer huts now. Vines wrapped around roofs, dragging them down. The air smelled of earth and sap. "Please," the chief whispered, his voice breaking. "Think of the children." The hunter's jaw tightened. He looked around at the terrified faces, at the people he had grown up with, at the elders who had shaped their lives. "You already thought of yourselves," he said. "Not them." The woman stepped closer to him. "If you free me," she said quietly, "this place will not survive as it is. And if I don't, the forest will rot," she replied. "And something worse will replace it." The hunter closed his eyes, breathing hard. "You're asking me to destroy my home." She shook her head slowly. "I'm asking you to stop protecting a lie." A scream cut through the air. A young boy had fallen into a widening crack in the ground, clinging desperately to the edge. Without thinking, the hunter ran and grabbed him, hauling him back to safety. The ground sealed again moments later. The woman watched, something like approval flickering across her face. "He protects even now," an elder sneered. "That's why he's weak." The hunter rounded on him. "No," he snarled. "That's why I'm done with you." He turned to the woman. "Tell me exactly what freeing you means." She inhaled slowly. "The seal that binds me is anchored in your bloodline. You must willingly break it. Not with a blade. With surrender." "Surrender to what?"
To balance, she said.
"To the truth that this village was never meant to exist here." Gasps rippled through the crowd. "You'd wipe us out," someone screamed. "I would not," she replied. "The forest will." The chief fell to his knees again. "Please," he sobbed. "We can leave. We'll abandon the land. Just stop this." The woman looked at the forest, then back at him. "The forest does not negotiate with thieves." The hunter's chest burned. He felt torn apart from the inside, loyalty clashing with justice, love for his people battling the weight of ancestral guilt. If you're still watching, the narrator cut in with urgency. Like the video now.
Subscribe.
Because this is the moment everything breaks. The hunter stepped into the stone circle, ignoring the shouts. What do I do? She followed him. The forest stilled, as if holding its breath. Speak the truth your ancestors buried, she said, and let go. The elders screamed. Don't listen. The hunter raised his voice, shaking but clear. Our village was built on betrayal, he said. We bound what we feared instead of understanding it. We lied to ourselves and called it survival. The ground trembled lightly. He continued, louder now. I release the debt my blood carries. I refuse to bind her again. The forest exhaled. Roots surged forward violently, tearing through the stone circle, ripping it apart like it had never mattered. Elders were thrown aside, screaming. The chief crawled backward in terror. The woman's body glowed faintly, not with light, but with presence. The air felt heavier, older. You have chosen, she said. The hunter looked at her, heart pounding. What happens to me? She studied him. You will not walk away unchanged. The forest surged inward, consuming the outer village completely now. People fled screaming, some tripping, some swallowed by vines that dragged them into the earth and released them unharmed miles away. Others were not so lucky. The woman turned to the hunter one last time. You may still leave. He shook his head. This is my responsibility. She nodded once. The forest roared. Trees uprooted themselves, crashing inward. The ground split open. The village was swallowed piece by piece, not violently, but decisively, as if erasing a mistake. The hunter clung to consciousness as the earth moved beneath him. When it finally stopped, the village was gone. Only forest remained. Silence followed. Deep. Final. The woman stood where the stone circle had been. She looked different now. Not more beautiful. More real. The hunter dropped to his knees, breath ragged. Is it over? She looked at the endless trees around them. For you, she said, it is just beginning. He woke to birdsong. That alone told him the world had changed. For a long moment, the hunter lay still, eyes closed, listening. The sound was unfamiliar, almost shocking in its normalcy. Birds arguing in branches. Insects buzzing. Wind moving leaves. The forest was alive again, not tense, not watching, not holding its breath. Just living. He pushed himself upright slowly. His body ached as if he had been dragged across stone, but he was alive. Around him stretched endless trees, ancient and tall, their trunks thick with moss and age. No huts. No paths. No village. The ground where homes once stood was now forest floor, smooth and uninterrupted, as if nothing human had ever been there. Memory hit him all at once. The screams. The roots. The choice. He staggered to his feet, heart pounding. Where are you? He called hoarsely. She stood a short distance away, watching him. She no longer looked like a woman pretending to be calm. She looked like something that belonged exactly where it stood. Her presence felt woven into the forest itself, as if roots ran beneath her skin and branches echoed in her breath. You stayed, she said. You said I wouldn't walk away unchanged, he replied bitterly. You didn't say I'd be alone. She studied him quietly. You are not alone. He laughed hollowly. Everyone I knew is gone. Not gone, she corrected. Displaced. Some were carried far. Some were spared. Some paid the debt fully. His jaw tightened. And the children? They live, she said. The forest does not punish innocence. Relief hit him so hard his knees nearly buckled. He pressed a hand to his face, breathing shakily. Then I made the right choice. She did not answer immediately. That depends, she said finally, on what you do next. Days passed. Or maybe weeks. Time felt different now. The forest provided food without effort. Water appeared where he needed it. Wounds healed faster than they should have. He learned to listen again, to the wind, to the ground, to the silence between sounds. She did not hover. She did not command. She simply was. One night, as fireflies flickered through the trees, he asked, "What are you now?" She looked up at the canopy. Unbound. And what does that make me? She turned her gaze to him. A bridge. The word settled heavy in his chest. Between what? Between what was stolen and what must be protected, she said. Between humans and memory. He shook his head. I never wanted this. Neither did I, she replied. He laughed quietly. Seems to be a pattern. Villagers began to appear at the forest's edge weeks later. Survivors. Scattered groups. They did not cross the boundary. They stood watching, fearful, whispering. They had stories now. Stories of a forest that swallowed lies. Of a hunter who chose truth over blood. Some begged him to return. Some cursed his name. He did not go back. If you've stayed with the story until now, the narrator slipped in gently. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment, because this ending only works if you truly understand the cost. One evening, as the sun bled gold through the trees, he turned to her. Will you leave? She considered the question. The forest does not wander. And me?
You will, she said.
One day. He frowned. So this is temporary. Everything is, she replied. But what you become here will follow you. He watched the light fade. What happens when people come again? When they want land. When they forget. She smiled faintly. That is why you are here. Understanding hit him slowly, heavily. You're making me the next guardian, he said. I am not making you anything, she replied. You already chose. He closed his eyes. The weight of it settled in his bones. He had been a hunter of beasts. Now he was something else entirely. Years passed. Stories spread. A forest that could not be cleared. A man who did not age the way others did. A presence that watched without cruelty, but did not tolerate greed. Sometimes travelers caught glimpses of her deep within the trees. Sometimes they saw him standing at the forest's edge, spear in hand, eyes sharp, calm, unafraid. The world moved on, but the forest remembered. And somewhere deep beneath the roots, the debt was finally at peace. If this story stayed with you, subscribe for more stories that history tried to bury. Like the video if you believe some beauty is not meant to be owned. And comment below, did the hunter make the right choice? The forest did not answer. It never needed to.